Welcome back to Supercoach Masters.
To Supercoach Masters.
I am Geordie and I'm with Matt Zeebs.
He's Geordie and I am Matt Zeebs. And today, George, what a week we've had, a couple of last days.
A lot of team reveals, a lot of videos,
some
filming.
pressures, some sweat, some team changes, the clicks, the buttons, the insults, the laughs, the love. It's all been fun.
It's all been fun, indeed.
George, do you want to say something to me?
I want to say a lot of things to you, but what are you meaning?
You shut the fuck up. No, why don't you do some shout outs? We've got to say a nice, sexy shout out to our Supercoach Edge boys.
Yes, look, Supercoach Edge, we'll probably be doing a collab with them coming up, guys. So if you don't know who Supercoach Edge is, I used to listen to them before we were content creators. They're just a great bunch of blokes.
Is that what we are, content creators?
You can call us that.
Yeah.
I'll say experts.
I'll say experts. We're just like a couple of boys, just doing some boys things.
But yeah, Supercoach Edge, they're a great bunch of blokes. Go to their channel. Give them a look and a follow because we'll probably do a part 1, part 2 there. They'll have part 1, we'll have part 2. So go with the Edge boys, check them out, give them a subscribe.
What about boys at the Centre Bounce, George?
No, we love the boys at the Centre Bounce. Big J runs a good crew there. I don't know if you saw this video, but I saw they had the person who finished first in Supercoach last year on his channel. So that was an hour interview. Very, very good.
Informative.
Very good. I watched the whole thing, start to finish. Loved it.
That trophy looked pretty good though, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it looks
almost as good as our Supercoach ring.
Almost, but goddamn, that trophy looks very good.
But yeah, so Centre Bounce, I'll put their details in the description. So Centre Bounce, Supercoach Edge guys, do us a favour, jump on for them. Now
that all the formalities are gone, well, first of all, where can you find us?
Well, you can find us, Matty. I'm glad you asked, because if you're listening to us now, you've already found us.
Yeah, that's right.
In one of 4 ways, on YouTube, Spotify, and Facebook, AFL SuperCoach Masters, or on Twitter, AFL_SE_Masters. Now,
George.
Now that's out of the way. I got 3 handsome people that I really want to talk about, Matty.
Who you want to talk about?
Let's talk about...
my boy Dean Fields.
Dean Fields. Now, he's every time I go into put someone's name on the eligibility for the cash prize, I always see Dean Fields' name because he's the very first person who got into the group of the SM. So I'll put it up for you guys. He said, "Hey guys, as I have enjoyed listening to your fun banter and honest advice, keep doing what you guys are doing." So Dean Fields got us 3 coffees. Dino, you're a legend,
3
mate.
coffees there. I loved him before we even...
loved you before you loved him.
Before we even had 100 subscribers, I saw this guy, Dean. I didn't even know he was one of our followers. And I just looked at him. He said something about the teams and I loved what he did. And ever since then, look at him. Look at him now.
Mm-hmm.
He actually said he's doesn't want to watch anyone else but us because we're just so informative and we're fun.
But also I looked at Supercoach Edge and said about
those guys through, yeah. Dean.
Now, we've got someone else who's a very, very...
Turn it up!
That's our boy. Oh, yeah, we love him as well. Here's a couple of caffeinated cow juice frothies for each of you 2 absolute modern-day Supercoach Jesuses. Keep up the great work and content. It is very entertaining and partially educational. And remember to turn it up!
We love to turn it up. That's our team name.
You got 4 coffees. What a legend. So... Mate, this is just perfect. Thanks for that, mate. I really do appreciate it. And it's got one last one. And this one... I don't know who Benny T is. I don't know what he looks like, but I imagine he's a really handsome, well-dressed,
strapping,
beautiful, smart, intelligent person.
Is that what he's talking about us?
No, because Benny T bought 5 coffees.
Wow.
And he said, "Keep up the great work, guys. Love your videos." Up the Sainers. Go Hunter Clark.
Go to Hunter Clark.
So Benny T, I'd love to see you more in the live chats, mate. We really appreciate that. Keeping us going at night. So. Absolutely love you guys. They're the 3 coffee shout-outs. You guys are fucking cream of the cream. Love you.
And if you haven't subscribed us, please do. And George, if you have...
We love you already.
We love you already, guys. Thank you so much.
And
now, yes.
Yeah, if you want to get your own message up here, just go to Shout Your Coffee. It's in the description.
We want coffees. All right. Now
we're Q&A. We're going to take
a bit of fun interactive with the boys out there. Sorry, I'm just mucking around. I'm just excited.
It's all right, Matty. It's all right.
So let's just talk about some questions that the boys have posted. We've had this up for a couple of days now.
We've got some good questions.
We've got some good questions.
Now, these are the burning questions to Supercoach, and they need to be addressed.
Oh, they do. These are the hard-hitting, bone-crunching questions that really keep Geordie up at night, and it's not to do with those 11 coffees he's drank all by himself.
What coffees, guys? I know what you're talking about.
I'm just mum-noshed over here. Just pop it with a question and who's it from and what they say.
Let's go.
Are we popping these on the screen?
I'm popping them on the screen.
We are popping them
it's
on the screen.
It's going to take me ages to pop them on the screen, so I need those copies. Slim.
Oh, my boy, Slim.
He says, haha, great content. Great content, boys. And good on ya, Zeeves. Ride that titch train, ride to victory. I have a question for the next video. Can you research 2 baseline rookies in each line that won't start round 1, but will get selected to play in the first about 2 to 8 rounds? Cheers, boys. So,
my boy, I'll tell you now, Slim, like we can only predict because obviously the teams have not been revealed, but I'm kind of feeling that these guys are kind of on the outer, but got the hype and that preseason hype, and they have been mentioned. They've been mentioned since Jan onwards. They're due to get a game, and surprisingly, Will Gould is not on this list, George. But he could be.
He doesn't exist.
All right. So in the defence, we just found out recently that Chin Trotter is not going to get a game over Cohen. So I think Chin Trotter is. They didn't pick him up for nothing. Nice, big, muscly.
He'll be a good downgrade option.
25-year-old, mature age superstar of the VFL, trying to break his way into Carlton's team. He, as you saw me and Geordie's team reveal yesterday and today, he was in our team, and we've just been told that he hasn't. Cohen is replacing him.
Yep.
So he's one of them. Good old Geordie's best friend.
My best friend, Weddle. Now, Weddle smashed the Box Hill when he didn't get that game against Collingwood. He went back to the Box Hill and he absolutely had a blinder. So I reckon he'll get a game before
Could he be a surprise naming round 1 or not?
I actually spoke to his mum yesterday, and it would be an outside chance. But he played incredibly well in the VFL, one of the best.
So keep trying, Weddle. I'm sure you'll get a downgrade option sooner or later.
I'm sure that's what he wants. He just really wants to be our downgrade option.
That's all. We're hoping for making some money.
No, Joshy, we know that you're a great player, and eventually you're going to show the AFL world. So he's going to be a good option for us, guys.
Okay, I think for the mids, some Fremantle boys there. I think Michael Johnson is kind of on the outer or on the fringe.
He's like the 24th-ish player.
Like there's a lot of hype of him, and also Corey Ragnar, who can also fit in the defence and the forward line, who's only out due to injury, but in January he was in like 20+% of teams. He had a lot of big raps. So Corey Ragnar and Michael Johnson from Fremantle are my two. Yep. Do you agree with those ones?
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
And you think it's only a matter of time before Fife and Amira break down to a bigger extent?
Amira's already broken down.
Yeah, he'll be okay for round 1, I think.
There you go.
He'll break down again.
Oh, I'm sure he will. And then we got in the rucks. So look, they could be named round 1, and there's some rumours that they both are.
Yeah.
In the ruck side, which is McAndrew from the Sydney Swans.
Yep.
And good old Samson Ryan from Richmond.
There's not too many downgrade options. Also, there's one from St Kilda called, I think, Max Heath. He might get a game just based solely on their huge, extensive injury list.
But he's not someone that you would downgrade to make. I don't think he's going to be a bubble boy. He might chip in here and there, and then maybe down the track.
Here's those people that will get rookies will get a game around,
Yeah.
So these are the guys we think if McAndrew, which we think are getting round 1, if he's not round 1, he'll get one a bit later in the pack. And Samson Ryan's got a lot of good raps about him.
Yeah. Moving forward, literally to the forward.
Forward.
Van Roonen, obviously the forgotten Melbourne forward line player.
123k.
He's had a lot of hype. Last year, at the end of last year, the start of this year, kind of fell out of favour. Didn't see him in the second practice game. He did play the first, but not Supercoach squad related on that one. So there is big raps on him that I think he could potentially break into the team and have a couple of good games when they can afford to play him against the Norths and the lesser teams. That Anthony Cometti from St Kilda, he could potentially be named round 1.
Yeah, he's cheap too, isn't he?
But he's cheap, and those tall stocks in St Kilda are falling like flies. And good old...
I'm pretty sure this guy, the one you're about to speak to, Blake Drury, he's like the Will Gould of North Melbourne.
He's the Will Gould.
He doesn't exist.
Well, look, Blake Drury has been hyped. The name has been in a lot of teams, and he's been in and out since Jan and Feb, but practice game March came and just not in there, is he?
Now, I think another one on that list is should be Josh Sin. He's a good replacement for Carl Amon. The coach came out and said that. Yeah. Just dealt with a bit of injuries, getting over that niggle, so he should be getting a game with you in the first 8 games.
All right. Geordie, well, there you go. I hope that's answered your question,
now,
Slim. Nice to have you. Next
Slim,
one.
Thanks for that. Inked Canvas, good to have you, Inked.
My boy, Inked.
And now he goes, what role do you boys think Libba will play? Now,
the ball-hungry, hard-hitting, tackling nut.
he was used in the forward line for the first 4 or 5 games, 20% CBA is not even. He's not going to be used like that ever again. He's going to be, I'm pretty confident in saying he'll be the number 1 CBA getter at Western Bulldogs. He's just going to be the absolute bull there. His role is going to be to get the fucking footy and get it forward.
I agree. The forward line stocks have now increased a lot since the recruits of last year have come in with, Rory Lobb and Sean Darcy doing what he's doing. So they do have a tall forward. They still got, the Cody Waitmans. Arthur Jones is getting some numbers up, and
he's injured.
I know he's injured there, but they still got some high stock forward line talent where they can move, because you saw about 2 or 3 of the premium midfielders go into the forward. There was Dunkley, there was Bont, there was Libba and Bailey Smith. We could all get in the forward line last year. I don't think there's going to be 4 of those premium players of those midfielders in Bulldogs getting that DPP status.
A lot more,
because obviously they've got a lot more weaponry, artillery to keep their tall stocks and goal kicking up a notch. So to answer your question, Inked, straight on the ball and just tackling. He'll just be he'll be like his old man, just tackling and doing a lot of contested handballs, and he'll do whatever he wants. I don't think he's not a tagger, no way.
No,
just a hard ball.
I don't see him doing any tagging. So, next question.
Thanks, Ink, for that one.
Tony Richardson, no Clary. That's dangerous. I think he means that our team reveals no Clary.
Well, Clary.
Now, this is what I think of Clary. I think kind of starting with Clary is just as dangerous as not having Clary, because, say, for example, so the CBA numbers in the preseason for Clary have not been good at all. They've been about 19% off his average. And if you think that's preseason, that's fair enough. I don't disagree with that either. Yeah. But now the coach is saying that they are going to be playing a little bit more backline and Petrarca a little bit more forward line. Even a slight shift off his usual 89% CBA kind of thing is just enough reason. And he's got a kind of tough-ish draw. I'm not saying Clary can't do good, but if Clary gets 120... or something like that, his break-even is still going to be absolutely massive. And, he just has to drop once. And he's not like Rory Laird, where Rory Laird gets more consistent scores between, the 100s to the 120, 130s. And Oliver can go 160 or a 70 or 180 and a 90. And you just need to wait for one of those scores.
You just got to wait,
That money can be used better, especially with all this stuff coming out. So many premiums we can afford into this midfield. If there's one kind of thing that's turning you off at saying, Clary might pay a little bit more back, and the coach is saying that, he still might score absolutely fine, that's fine. But if Clary gets 150 and I get, say, a steal or Cali gets 130, I'm happy to take those 20 points and use that 100k somewhere else to make that up. Yeah. And wait for Clary to get that 100. So.
No, I agree. It's a good question. Obviously, Clary has been a Supercoach king for a long time.
I think Matty Anson's real hot on Clary as well. Yeah. He's always posting and saying, you need Clary, he's going to be the number 1 scorer. He could be, but I think I can, compared to the other guys, I think I can get him a bit cheaper. Yeah.
No, I agree on that one, George. All right, so there's your question there. Thanks for tuning in, Tony.
Supercoach Pro.
He's my boy.
He said, when are we doing a gym sesh? No broccoli, potato chips though.
We can definitely do gym sesh. We could do it a pro or gym. We could do a Jeremy. Jordy, you going to invite us for a gym sesh?
It's not everyone. 3 people in my gym.
3 people in my gym.
3 people that can bench more than me in my gym.
Just hit us up, mate. Our PMs will love to meet up and do some tries. George?
Can we do shoulders?
We can do shoulders and
tries.
We can do shoulders and tries because you can talk more when you do shoulder tries. You don't have to do your breathing, So with no back, no bench, just shoulders and tries.
I don't know if I'll be even strong enough to spot Supercoach Pro doing his kind of workout.
I've seen his profile. He looks pretty tough.
Yeah, he's tough.
That's pretty funny. But definitely no broccoli chips. They were fucking gross. Sorry.
Yeah, so we're fresh out. They were.
They
weren't like hotcakes.
They taste stale. You know what they tasted like? You know those xylophone balls when how you get a TV and you got those white little.
Yeah. I've never tried them to eat them before.
I tried them, and they taste like broccoli chips. So
perfect. All right.
That's what it tastes like.
AC Pro, thanks for joining in. We didn't see you in the last 2 team reveals.
I know. What are you going on there? He must be pumping the guns.
Pumping Tinder chicks.
Tinder chicks and pumping guns.
All right. Good on you, AC Pro. Matthew Dick.
Matty Dick.
Question for you to answer. Why is no one talking about Hunter Clark anymore?
Whoa!
He got 78 Supercoach with just 50% efficiency because there was a hurricane. Very blustery.
Very
blustery.
Good call.
So even if he goes up to 70 to 80%, then it will be a massive... That will be massive. And he gave away 2 free kicks and only had 78% time on ground. And no one's talking about him. And I don't know what I'm missing here. You saw my team reveal, Matty. He's in the team. So I didn't miss that. I didn't miss it at all, mate.
There you go.
He missed it.
No, I thought I missed it. I saw what he did. And
but he's got to, like, why
it is an awkward price for me, personally. It is just a very awkward price. Hunter Clark, he was kind of... We were looking at him in Jan as well. Like, we obviously want to... You know, we can identify these cheap players that are coming back with, you know, injured free and ready to rock. But Hunter Clark, I think what turned me off him was his first practice match and his role there. And then he came back and got 24 plus touches or whatever. 24 touches, George?
24 touches.
24 touches in the practice game in the Hurricane of Doom against the Bombers.
I don't mind him, that's why he's in the team.
And even Steele was saying that he will be getting, like Jack Steele, the captain, was saying that he's going to get more of a role in the guts and Ross Lyon's backing him in. So, yeah, I don't mind Geordie's. I know, you know, we're expecting a lot of laughs there, but, you know, obviously we bring information, know things and hear things, but clearly the numbers of Hunter Clark getting 24 touches, it could be a hidden gem.
Could be. Why do you think...
Geordie believes so. Tell me why do you believe?
I was going to say, why do you think so many coaches don't believe he's only in 3% of teams?
I think it's just because of the structures that we're all accustomed to, and everyone that is doing their team reveals and all the experts and... You know, people like us are doing the team reveals kind of have that same structure in that back line. And there's a lot of players, you know, like Gibney, Yeo, Constable that are pretty much in 50+% teams, if not more. I know now, I saw today Liam Jones is in like 27% of teams. You know, and obviously 100k cheaper. So I think it's more of where you want to find the money and put it into the midfield. Clearly I found some money and you know, put that into the midfield after my team reveal. But that's why I think people are... I think he's just a bit more of that awkward price. And, yeah, like, I don't know if you can have two Primos and a Yo and a Hunter Clark and, you know, you need to be cutting somewhere else. What do you think?
He's in my team.
He's in the team, and that's in the swell.
But, look, I'm not 100% in love with the pick. He is that awkward price. And obviously... if you
and if it was those... Sorry to interrupt, but when we asked that question on your team reveal... Yeah. Like the three players that you least like the most in your team, Hunter Clark, Jones, and Tanner Bruhn.
For that price, I wanted to be a little bit more sure about what he can produce. And I don't give a fuck if it's a Hurricane. I want him to be getting 90s. I mean, there was a Hurricane and Ridley got 129. So,
yeah, he did.
200k off that. So this is something to think about.
Instead of got 199.
I don't mind his role. He gets a bit of CBAs with some rebounding.
But no, that's a really, really good question.
I like that one, Matty. Thanks for that.
Next one.
Batman says, who is a better pick, Braun or Zeeble? Matt, you want to go first?
I would say Braun is a better pick based on his talent and his role. Zeeble has probably got a bit more job security, I think.
He's got way more job security. He's in the team regardless. His job security is max.
The job security. So if it's a two-sided question here. I would think. Would you agree to say that Braun has got a bit of talent, more ceiling to get higher points than Zeeble this year? If he's playing, if they're both playing 22 games.
I think it depends how they both are used. I don't think Zeeble is going to be used the way he was 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, we have Aaron Hall coming back. We have Taron Thomas coming back. And Luke McDonald's already there. So once those two boys come back and they start doing more kick-outs, start doing more rebounding, Zeeble, there's a lot of plays. It was less Aaron Hall and Zeeble that year. I think Luke McDonald was back now. He was playing in the midfield that year. I think there's going to be a lot of people taking that pie. I'm pretty sure he played a full game or similar on 15 touches. 15 touches, 80 Supercoach. I don't like Zeeble. I prefer Braun over Zeeble.
Do you think
cheaper for about 40k.
Yeah. Do you think Braun will average more than Zeeble?
That depends if he gets any sub-affected games, and that's the risk with Braun. So
that's it with Braun.
That's the thing, we don't know. If we see Geelong name him in the centre, we know that they rate him as highly as we do. If we see him on an extended interchange, we're like, okay, maybe they think he's one of the team fillers.
Yeah.
So you got to think, Geelong won the premiership, and they got Bowes, Braun, Asava to come back in. Eventually, Menegola when he's fit.
Duncan and Hawkins are still not playing.
And Holmes as well didn't play that. So they got their premiership team, plus all these players they need to get back in the side. That's why it's really hard for that. So cheers, Batty.
So I don't know if that was confusing or we answered the question. Direct answer.
I'll go Braun.
Okay. I'll go Braun too, as far as...
But they both don't make me sleep easier.
They don't make me excellent.
But if he was named in the midfield...
They're both in our team and
his scoring potential is big. If he plays a full game and he plays the role he has been playing in the preseason, Braun can go...
So there you go, Batman. That's the answer. Thanks for asking that one.
Ben Leonard, I really like this question. What is a better defensive structure? One 600k defender, one 500k defender, and a Yo/Day, or 3 500k defenders? So it's kind of like if you took out one 500k from each, because they both got one 500k. So it's either a 600k defender and a yo day, or two 500k players.
3 500k players.
Well, like, they've both got one each, so you can just take that one out.
So just to dilute the question from Ben Leonard, what's the better defense structure? A Tom Stewart and a Ridley and a Yo, or a Ridley, a Dacos and a Young?
And that's what I'm doing. I'm taking out the Ridley from both of them.
Yeah.
So would you rather say, I wouldn't say Young, I'd say a Cummings and a Dacos, or a Stewart and a Yo?
No. What are you talking about? Yeah, I don't think you understand the question.
I do. You don't.
He's saying, so he's...
What's a better defensive structure?
Yeah.
There's 3 players, right? Okay, so there's 3 500k players, or a 600k, a 500k, and a 300k. So they both have one 500k each, so that doesn't matter. So you can take that out. So it's either a 600k player, a Stewart and a Yo, or a Dacos and a Cummings.
Okay. And what's your answer to that?
Well, there's a discrepancy in money for starters. Like the Ridley and, say, the Dacos and the Cummings kind of combo, that's over $1 million. So a Stewart and a Yo, or a Stewart and a Day,
is under $1 million.
Will be under $1 million. But that being said, I still like this Stewart and Yo.
Yeah, same. And I think that's what a lot of people got.
So the structure is not 3 500k. We'll go for 1 600, 1 500, and 1 330. Because with these 500ks, do you know that these 3 are going to be top 6, top 8 defenders? Probably not. It's
within your Dacos, Youngs and Cummings and things like that.
You might get lucky with 1 or 2, but you know Tom Stewart is, and with 1 500k you can pick the crop of that one, and then you got a Yo or Day to make your money. So
yeah,
you
good
agree with
stepping
that?
stone. Yeah, 100. Well, it's in my team. I've got a Doherty, a Ridley.
Yeah, so you got the structure.
Yeah, I've got the.
But if you could
structure.
turn Doherty into, say, a Dacos and use that money to upgrade a Yo to a Cummings,
because I think Yo is almost certain to start, as in a must-have, in my opinion.
Now this one.
So that's the question there.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
This is a big question from Callum.
Callum. What's he got to say to us?
Good team. Mine's pretty. This is to your one, matey. Mine is pretty similar, but I'm just wondering a few things. Is Constable safe to put on the field? We'll
stop there one by one.
Because we'll do this question.
Constable is probably the only $123,000 player that I would trust to be named on the field out of all of them.
Agree. I agree with that, matey. So yes, it is. You can't see him averaging more than 65 plus. I can see him averaging 75 because he got 75 on the weekend.
Yeah.
So
Constable's a really good player.
He's good. I don't know how he's going to go at Gold Coast, but 65 from rookie is not the worst if that's the lowest he can go, which we think is around.
And he loves
that mark.
kicks.
He loves kicks. Good for, and he takes some kick-ins. It's a higher floor.
Yeah.
Who is a cheap and viable option to replace Yo on field, excluding Jones, Crozier, Gibney, and Constable? So
what are you saying? You want to take Yo out?
Replace Yo on the field. Who is a cheap and viable option to replace Yo? I think, with all these defensive questions, he's trying to look for a Yo replacement.
So instead of Jones, instead of Crozier, instead of Gibney, instead of Constable,
get yourself a Hunter Clark.
You get yourself a Nathan Wilson from Fremantle.
Wilson, he done all right in the Pracky game as well. Was it 80 or 90 Supercoach points?
He got 92 Supercoach points.
92 Supercoach points.
Who else we could think about?
There's a Stocker. You like Stocker?
Liam Stocker's 210 is very cheap. I like him being in St Kilda. Carlton didn't really rate him too well, but I think he played a very good game. Got the second most meters gain in that game, so clearly his role is rebounding 50s, and you know how much I love a rebounding 50. So to replace Yo, is Will Day in there?
Well, that's not, but he's not cheaper than Yo.
He's not cheaper than Yo? All right.
If you're trying to get rid of Yo for a player, I'd recommend just keeping Yo, but if you want to, we've named Hunter Clark, Wilson.
Hunter Clark, Wilson, good old Stocker to an extent if named round one. Scrolling down here, not really seen anything we like. Jack Bowles, if he gets a game, I think he probably will.
Jack Bowles, yeah.
Jack Bowles. Like
in that Geelong team, I wouldn't like him. I'll be getting Yo. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it either. Nate, lot of hype on Lockie Jones, but not very.
Not a lot delivering.
Not a lot of delivering.
I reckon you just stick to those. Stick to those, Callum. And then your next question is.
Or you can go risky and go for a Sam Darcy, but I wouldn't.
No chance. Lockie Ash versus Jordan Horne-Francis versus Malira. So you like Ash the most?
What did you?
Yeah, I'll go Ash.
I'll go Ash, Wayne Malira, then Jordan Horne-Francis for mine.
Well, Horne-Francis has got the best role. He's getting the most CBAs at Port Adelaide. Eventually, he's going to be scoring good. So and he's dual position out of both of them. The other two will get dual position. It all depends on your structure. So if you've got more room in your midfield to play around and you want to get one of those guys, I'd go Ash first. Then only because Ash has already averaged 85 before, and so we can trust Ash. Malira's only had 1 year in the system.
And to answer your previous question there about someone that can do, because by the time Malira and just round 6, that could be someone that's going to be replacing Yo in the back line, putting him in the back line afterwards.
Yeah, but I think he wants to get someone cheap for him now.
Yeah.
And Horn Francis. So my number one, I'll go Ash, I'll go Horn Francis, then Malira. And you already gave yours.
Yeah.
Now, Callum, this is very much, just because you put in one sentence, this is not one question, but we'll continue.
We'll continue.
Josh Kelly versus Libba. I'm Josh Kelly.
Josh Kelly.
And could Jordan De Goey average 115 plus and be a viable option?
Can't trust him.
I can't trust him either. I know he's cheap and he's good, but he's just like, one beer on a Saturday night away from being suspended.
Yeah.
He's not someone I can trust. He looks good. He looks like he's more matured, and we're both Collingwood.
And as young, strapping, sexy lads, we know what a beer leads to. So definitely not.
I don't.
Some nose beers later, and then
Is Cripps a good get, as most of his sub 100 scores were either rucking, subbed off, and had less CBAs, or was tagged? Cheers, boys. So Cripps, he can still be put in the ruck, still the same coach. He still can get tagged, and still, so he's not going to be getting more points based on last year or for that, because he can still get tagged. He can still get, he's still got no Welsh there, so he still will be the number one tag getter. Cripps still can be a good get. But I have about 4 or 5 players ahead of him at this stage, Matty.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like Cripps did surprise all of us, even Carlton supporters. I'm sure he surprised everyone.
I think he surprised a lot of other coaches. I think now they're going to be anyone at Brownlow. I think he's going to have a lot more attention than he did last year.
My point exactly. Thanks, Jordy, for finishing that one.
But I think he's going to smash Richmond tomorrow.
So him there.
All right, I like this one. Can Nick Blakey finally take the mantle from Lloyd and become a Prem defender? Has the flair, has the run and carry, has the role, takes the kick-ins, priced at $475K. We'd love to hear some inside discussion.
Thanks, Chris Pritchard, for that one there.
Chrissy, thanks for that, mate. And I was actually talking about this, Matt, before this. I actually think Nick Blakey is real good. I think he's going to average more than Lloyd this year.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, in his game, I don't think many people paid attention. He played 60% of game time in the practice game, and he scored 100 points. So I think there's definitely a potential breakout for Nick Blakey. I reckon he'll be averaging more than Lloyd, and I reckon he'll be maybe 550 come year end or something like that.
Fair enough.
What do you think of that, Matty?
No, I think Blakey, since last year, Lloyd used to be the premium $600,000 defender that we all love to see getting cheap, easy rebound 50s. Blakey has clearly taken the mantle already. So to answer your question, can Mick Blakey finally take the mantle? In my opinion, he already has. He already has. I don't know that his game style and play is like Lloyd, because Lloyd finds himself in the positions to get those cheap 25 plus touch kicks when he was 600,000 and when he was a must get. Blakey is more of just down the line to targets, and he's got a lethal kick. And it goes a lot. His kicks are a lot better, like you said here. He's saying, has the flair, has the run and carry, has the roll. Not only does they take the kick-ins because his his boot is magnificent. So he's already taken the role, in my opinion.
And the runs of bounces don't hurt at all when he rebounds 50. So I reckon he's a really good pick, Chris. If you want him as a pod, I'd absolutely. You have my endorsement on that.
Yep, that's all good. So thanks for that one, Chris. But
cheers, Chrissy.
I think he's already taken the mantle.
Matty Anderson.
Matty.
Who are the players that you were thinking will get DPP in round 6 and make their way into teams besides the obvious one of Gorn? There wasn't 700 questions. That's because we said you can only ask one question. And then we said Matty Anderson.
So I think DPP, George, I'm going to say mine. I heard from Mail from the Swans that Parker and Mills, I have a good feeling that those two boys are both going to be DPP. Mills back in the...
If Mills is DPP in the defence...
Mills could potentially be a DPP in the defence.
I'm selling the house and getting...
Parker will be a DPP in the forward. They are clearly now running Goulden in the midfield. That's what Parker has said out loud. Mm-hmm. And the boys of Rowbottom, Warner, Ollie Florent and Goulden are going to be in that...
Florent, really?
In the midfield rotation with obviously Parker and Mills, but Parker and Mills resting in the opposite directions. Parker in the forward, Mills in the back. So this is something that I really want to see. I would love to see Parker back in the forward and Mills clearly as a DPP in the back line.
Yeah.
Could potentially be things that we're getting. Now, you can make the obvious ones like, the Malira's going in the back line and the Ashes going in the back line. But once they go in there, do you really want to get them?
No. Because they'll probably have made money.
But if Parker and
you
Mills...
want the premiums that go there.
If Parker and Mills go there, you'd want to get them. George, your two?
I got Petrarca. Look, I think he might have been very close last year to getting DPP at some stage.
Yeah.
But I think now that the coach has come out and said he's going to play more forward, could that push him over the line? If he's in the forward line, he's in. I don't care who I'm kicking out. So I reckon Petrarca, if he's there, DPP, he could be very close. If anything to go on the weekend by, he got a lot less CBAs. I think it was like around 60 or 50 CBAs from when I was going over the stats and doing some crunching. That would get him some forward line DPP, which would be amazing. Mm-hmm. The other one I had was Whitfield. So, Whitfield's never again. He's going to be a defender. He's going to only be in the defence, and he's probably one that will get DPP that people might want to jump on if there's no options. If he's playing like the Lockie Whitfield of old, I don't really trust Whitfield. No. I've got enough JBLS players to pick.
Fair enough, George. So that's the answer. Maddie, Endo, we love you.
Good on you, Maddie. Thanks for that.
Boy, Trent. Zira.
Who do you think will be the surprise packet of each line? Defence, midfield, ruck, and forward. By the way, I'm still suffering seizures after seeing Maddie's midfield reveal. Love you, mate.
Love you too, Trenny. All right, so as far as that question goes, surprise packet for me, George, your surprise packet in defence
was Nick Blakey.
There you go.
So I had Nick Blakey for this question, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of people, and I think he's a great pod, a lot of surprise packet potential.
I think, I agree. My surprise packet for the defence is Will Day. Knowing that he's going to be playing in the midfield, plays like Pendles, moves like Pendles, makes very good decisions.
He is Pendles.
He is
Pendles.
I'm asking, that was me, I'm asking Will Day to Pendles. But no, Will Day's my surprise packet for the back line. I think he's going to do really well.
Pendles.
In the mids, my one is good old Lockie Hunter. He's been flying under the radar and moving into Melbourne, clearly getting a lot of the footy and kicking goals.
I think he's going to do good.
So I think Lockie Hunter...
He played up over 90% game time as well.
Yeah, if he was 100,000 cheap, I'll probably get him.
Me too.
Yeah, he's just at that awkward 400 plus.
He has to be. You have to pick him as either a keeper.
Yeah, you got to keep him for that price, and I know that he will probably do really well. Just can't get in the team with that price, poor Lockie. Yeah. But that's my surprise packet in the guts. Geordie, yours?
Caleb Sarong. He is primo Sarongi. He is going to be almost the number one midfielder there. I reckon he's going to be up there with Brayshaw this year. I predict him somewhere of the 590 mark costing of the next year. Yep. I think Sarong's great. He looks like he's going to match.
I agree with that one.
Up to the vice captaincy, I think.
I think he can definitely step up his game for another $100,000 expense for next year.
Nothing less than an 82 average. Ever since he started in Supercoach in his first year, he looks like he's just improving. So
that's
Sarong is my
and
big
Fremantle are also improving too. I see him growing into getting close to 600,000 by next year.
Yep. Who's your ruck?
I don't have one. I agree with you, George. P&Et. There's no one else there. Like I was going to say Nank.
You agree with me?
I was going to say Nank
because of your emotional connection. Physical connection with him,
because he is. I just think Nank is so. I just think he's underrated, and I think he will surprise people because.
Haven't they come out and said they're going to use Soldo and maybe Samson Ryan even more this year?
Oh, that's so funny. Richmond are going to. If they want to win flag, they're not going to do that because they're not. Let's be honest. But Geordie's P&Et pick, I kind of agree to that.
P&Et surprise packet. He's going to surprise the shit out of everyone because.
Like I think anyone really besides Wits, Darcy. Gorn, Marshall.
I don't mind
anyone
English.
that does that great is going to surprise anyone because across those five.
If Grundy just ends up averaging 110, I'm going to be surprised. If anyone in the ruck does that, I'll be surprised. They're all surprise packets.
They're all surprise packets.
But I think Pito for a cheap kind of surprise packet, Zero. That's what I'm going with.
My forward line surprise package already is Nick Martin from the Bombers. I think he's got a lot of run. He's got a lot of skill. He impressed us last year and. By all reports, he's still doing it.
I love 102k Nick Martin this year.
Yeah, that will be so good. So this is what this year's missing, those 102k Nick Martins, those 102k Jack Hazes, those 222 Bill Brodies, those 400,000 Sicilies.
Brody was 200.
220,000. Kalingalo was 220,000. Fuck.
So you just got to be a bit
400.
smarter. You got to get those Hunter Clarks when you see them.
Yeah, you got to get those Hunter Clarks, those Warpers, those Centerfields, all those mid-prices.
They're the only ones.
Matty, mid-price. They're the ones that make us cash. They're the ones that separate us from, the rookies that you're going to be playing instead of... Anyway.
My one,
Geordie?
Ben Cunnington. He didn't score that well on the weekend, but check out his CBAs, guys. He's been getting huge CBAs in his practice games, and he's been played like he used to. And everyone remembers a day where he was the 570 around the mark. He could very well surprise the absolute shit out of everyone.
Oh, yeah.
He's my surprise packet in the forward line. He could be up there.
I agree, champ. He was a $600,000 couple of years
ago.
If
he was $50K cheaper, I'd be getting him.
Oh man, I remember I already had him planned to pick my team because what he averaged and what he played last year.
And I keep telling you,
should have been a $200,000.
That's not how they price things in Supercoach.
They're assholes. Love you, Supercoach.
Supercoach, we love you. Yeah. All right. Healing Hikes Australia, very active as well.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Legends, last spot in the team. Warple and Fergus Green or Callahan and McLean. Fergus and McLean are going to be just bench spots. Cheers, Legends.
I'll probably say number one, George. Warple and Fergus Green.
I go Callahan and McLean.
Yeah.
You go your reasoning and I'll give you mine.
So Warple, I think, is now in favour again. Number one, number two midfielder in Hawthorn. So I think he'll make a lot of money quick on the field. Fergus Green's job security.
Got Flanders on your mind?
No, I got Flanders. Fergus Green's job security, I think, is a lot more cement than your McLean, and that's where I got it. So, Fergus Green.
This is not going to help in that we're both picking different things.
These are I know it's not going to help, but Callahan, I like him. I've got 3 out of the 4 people there. McLean, and again, if McLean is named round 1, I need. But
this is assuming McLean is named round 1. Because
got to get them all, Mac. Got to get them all.
Nah, look, I'm Callahan, McLean. I'm not that hot on Fergus Green kicking 3 or 4 goals a game. 100 points smashing against Collingwood, where it's an open game. Fergus Green's a third forward in the bottom side of the comp that we're predicting. Callahan, I think he's not as good as Warple.
Well, where do you think fucking GWS West are going to finish?
But Callahan's a midfielder. I'm talking about Fergus Green.
Yeah, okay, but I'm just saying you're talking about Fergus Green because Hawthorn aren't going to be playing because they're in the bottom side. I don't see GWS being any higher than
I do see them being higher than them.
Not on your predictions, you don't.
Yeah, they're 2 spots higher. You're 2 or 3 spots
last,
higher.
Though, so a couple of wins extra. Okay.
Anyway. Fergus Green's a forward.
Yeah.
None of these other 2 options are forwards. McLean, if he's playing on the field, you're going to have to get him because he has got some good scoring potential. He's averaged over 95 before. That's what I base it on. So if McLean can get a 90, 95 before, if he averages 85, you need to get them. So
okay, so a question just so we don't confuse healing. If they're all named, is there any you're going to miss out on?
Maybe Fergus Green. Because I'll have McLean and Davey on the bench in the midfield, perhaps.
Okay.
But I could get them all. I would get them all, depending on the structure.
I would get them all if they're all named round 1.
But obviously, people haven't gone mid-price madness with Callahan, Warple, so you got to pick one.
Well, who knows?
I like Warple better.
Callahan could be the new Bill Brody, and Warple could be the new Tom Mitchell.
Sorry not to help Healing Hikes, but we both are going to be clashing heads on this one. Trust me, go with me. So, where can I purchase Geordie's hair from, says Amusement Productions.
So where's your barber, Geordie?
So you can't really purchase it, but if you want to go to the Winning Post, the Winning Post in Mill Park,
that's where you can find Geordie every other week.
Tony and Gino, 2 Italian brothers cutting hairs in the barbering. Beautiful.
There you go.
In Mill Park, for all the Victorian viewers.
Where can I find Geordie's hair?
Amusement Productions. The first time we've ever commented, and that's your question.
That's awesome.
Love it, Amusement Productions. Thanks for that. Say hi to Tony and Gino when you get there. Tell them that Supercoach Master sent you.
Maybe he's
they get you 5% off your haircut.
Maybe he's going to be stalking you. He's going to be waiting there until you walk in.
Yeah.
He's going to steal that ring.
Carry it on, man. All right. Cripps versus Brayshaw versus Steele to start the year. Matty, top to bottom, go.
Still Brayshaw Cripps. Easy for me.
Easy. I'll go Steele, Brayshaw, Cripps. Not that easy for me though, because Brayshaw is younger, getting better. Cripps, turning 28 this year. Surprised the whole comp, as we mentioned. Will get a lot more attention, we believe. No Welshie to help him out early as well.
No.
Steele is just, he's like an Uber premium in a premium's body. Like he's
so slick and sexy, and he's ready to
yeah.
bust those guns there. So yeah, Steele, Brayshaw, Cripps, me and Geordie.
Unanimous. That's it, Aaron. But I can see Brayshaw doing berserk sometimes as well.
See Brayshaw
and I can see Chris doing
berserk. And this isn't by much. It's not like
I like
miles
these
away.
questions. These are nice questions.
All right, next one.
Centre bouncers, not worried you're going a little bit too...
Thank you, mid-pricer, for that question.
Not worried you're going a little too mid-price.
So this question was straight onto my...
I'm sure it'll be said to me as well.
Looking at my team, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 mid-price players in the midfield, which is Setterfield, Hopper. So let's just face it. Let's just break it down. Hopper's a lock, right? So Yo's also mid-price. He's a lock. I'm not worried about their scoring potential because they've both averaged over 90, over 100 even. You look at Will Setterfield, who's now moving into a new team with a new role and clearly the biggest midfielder in Essendon. And watching his practice games, watching his intra-club games, getting the mail saying that he's outstanding in training and dominating and getting the football. His last game that he played in that St Kilda game, he was the only shining light with Ridley for the Essendon Bombers. So Setterfield is a tick for me. Hopper's a tick for 90% of teams, smart teams that have him. Warple, being that player that he is, he's 300,000. However, he's a number 1 midfielder or number 2 midfielder for Hawthorn with not Jai Newcomb. He's going to get a plenty more opportunities. I don't see his form is going to be an issue as far as getting dropped like it was last year, based on what Sam Mitchell said has recently. Finn Callahan, the coach, has come out and said that they really rate him as the wing and the forward, and they want to rotate him in the midfield. And for that price, why not? So based on all this, and to also break down the question, is 2 mid prices heavy? No, pricing has got nothing to do with what gets points on the board. You can have a 600, you can have a 300,000, you can have a $100,000 player like Nick Martin was $100,000. He scored 118. Jack Hayes. It doesn't matter what they cost. It's what you think they're going to be scoring on the field. So me having all these mid prices, I can take the laughs, and I'm happy that I am taking the laughs, as it just makes me realise that you boys don't have them, which makes me think, well, good.
So no one's laughing here.
No, but like on my team reveal about mid-price, because there's a lot of...
You had 2 premiums.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had 2 premiums.
No, I had 3. I had 2 premiums in a top. So Jordan's looking at my team and he's confused, but it's all right. Now, as far as the mid-price, I don't like Flanders out of all of the players that I had. But again, Flanders got the potential to score and to make money. So as far as mid-price players, if there's any year to do them, George, do you think this is the year?
I think it's wherever. I think, look, see, the reason why I don't think this is mid-price heavy is because even picking all these mid-prices, there is about 5 or 6 that we haven't picked. And that if 1 or 2 fails, we're happy to sideways to them after week 2, because... For example, if Setterfield or Warple don't fails to fire, I know there's a Sheed,
you still got Sheed, Ash,
Malira in the wings, and I know if Fife doesn't fire, I know there's a Braun. I know if that's not there, it's Zeeble, or it's Horn Francis, or it's Flanders, and there's a Day, there's a Hunter Clark. So there's a lot of mid prices with huge potential this year. So if you're getting 6, 7, or 8, there is still plenty of opportunity if they do bad to get to the ones that do good.
Do you think the value of the player is any different from an next value of a player? So not according to premiums. So a $300,000 player can do way better than a $500,000 player this year.
Yeah. I mean, I think Hopper's going to do better than a lot of the players that are priced above him. So you just got to pick where the value is. And
that's so to answer your question, do you think there's too many mid prices?
I just think
the reason why I say no is because what's on offer that's $100,000, the rookie and premium, the guns and rookies is not the formula this year. So if you've got more than Gibney, Constable, Ashcroft on the field, or maybe McKenzie, more than those 4 players on the field, then you're going to be struggling, because that means you've got some rookies on the field that shouldn't be on there. They should be on your bench, trickling and making you a little bit of money. Because if those like Will Phillips and Cowans and Wilmots and Oscar Bakers and Fergus Greens or Alan Davies are on your field, who's on your bench making you money? Because there's not much to choose from. So that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Agreed or not? Or is that too much info for you to process?
Yeah. My brain just... I just ate a large Pad CU and they gave me double the serving, so I I was in a bit of a food coma. I had something to say, but I lost it in the second hour.
So that's
you were talking.
that's my answer. If there's too many rookies on the field, if it's not those four, which is again Gibney, Constable, Ashcroft, or Cam McKenzie, good luck making money and trading in players on your bench to make them better on the forward line, make them better on the scoring playing field. Because I don't think, and I think a lot of smart supercoaches will think there's not a lot of money makers on the bench if you've got more than those four players on the field.
Moving on.
You don't agree with that?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I had my spiel.
Yep, all right, cool. Next one.
Is Lockie Ash, this is from Callum Thomas, is Lockie Ash a better option than Hopper as far as points on field go? Is his role legit or was his pracky match a flash in the pan? Now, I think if you are considering Lockie Ash first up, Callum, it's not at Hopper's expense. Hopper needs to be in the team. You could get lucky and he could get injured, but in the high percent chance he just plays and he's going to be the number one CBA getter at Richmond, he's going to do good. If you want Lockie Ash, he's scored well. He's got a proven history, he can score over 85. His role looked good. He'll probably get DPP. He's a really good player.
He's not tagging anymore.
I don't think on points on field, I don't think at all Ash is going to outscore Hopper by any huge amount. Even so, so if you want to get Ash, it's got to be for someone else. It can't be for Hopper.
Yep, agreed, George.
Matty, why? Yeah.
Sorry, I just dropped the tree on the floor, but I'm putting it on my phone.
That's
all good.
Amazing.
Yep, next one.
Tim Heald. Dacos or Ridley. Ridley will never get 40 and kick 3 goals, but he's also never going to get tagged. Who's the better pick? I think I speak for both of us when we say Ridley. Now,
I think the practice match of a hard tag, like Dacos got a flawless first year, last year more than anyone ever. Got 5 straight points for the Rising Star and all judges. Ticked all the boxes, gets the footy, looks good, does everything. Even last year they were already tagging him. In Sydney Swans, they were tagging him out. A lot of other teams were tagging him out. They've picked up to tag, like even in the practice game. In a practice game, Finn McGuinness tagged.
He did perfect his craft.
Yeah, they tagged the shit out of Dacos.
I think Ridley's at his absolute floor, his price floor. We've seen him go up to 580 before in games, and look, I don't think he can get cheaper than what he is now. So I think Dacos can get cheaper.
I want to see Dacos handle the tag a lot more better before I'm going to be starting.
72 is not the worst, but I prefer him to up that to an 80, 85. But look, they're both not bad picks. Like if I wasn't getting Ridley and maybe coming after that, and I would think about Dacos, but I think Ridley's the better pick. Tim?
He's literally dropped about 10% since that practice game because I think a lot of people of those
hasn't really gone up.
And Ridley has gone up a lot too. Not so much, but yeah, he was a point of difference, 8%.
All right.
Next one.
I really like Gawn, Facette, and again.
Oh, Geordie can answer this one.
Look, Gawn,
so that one's gone to Jordan DeWitt.
Jordan, also a top commenter on Facebook. Good to have you, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordy.
Set and forget, absolutely. If you're getting Gorney, he's going to be set and forget because we will expect him to get DPP at some point. And if it's not in, you can always move him forward. So if you get him as set and forget, I reckon he can do good in the ruck. He can do good in defence. The reason why I wouldn't start with him is because his role is so unpredictable. He's bound to have a 70 game here and there, and he will drop amount of money. But if you're picking to him, you will have him for the whole season.
And also another question to ask you on top of your question. So is Gordon set and forget? Let's just say he is a set and forget and he's 600,000 and he's been playing in the forward line. It's not a set and forget. You'd want to move him into the forward line. You'd want to get another first performing ruckman. So if you see Gorney's number one ruck, then you want to push him to the forward, because if those other rucks like Darcy's or Witz's or Grundy's are averaging more than the forward line players are, then you got another dilemma in, putting Gorn in the forward line to get a better ruckman to cover that. But yeah, thank you for that, Jordan. We got Hayden.
Hayden Hall, I got a question for the vid, was wondering your ranking of the top 5 most fieldable under 200k players excluding Astrop can be for this round or all year.
All right.
Now, that's a real tricky one, but under 200k, we've come up with a bit of a quick list for you, Hayden.
So the quick list, Hayden, like I said earlier regarding the rookies and the mid-prices, I only would think Constable, Cam McKenzie, Ruben Gibney will be easily affordable. Now, who you can field, and I would think McLean,
Yep, agree.
Toby McLean was just a bit iffy
If
on
he's,
his
if
job
he's
security.
named, but if he's named, you know, you could field him.
Like, I love this guy since we've started this podcast, and that's Ollie Holland. And I keep saying it all the time. I wish he wasn't in Carlton. I wish he was in it.
He's playing on the wing.
I know, but like, I know that he's very talented, and I know that he can be a superstar of the competition. So I really like him. We know he's going to be named round 1. So Ollie Hollands would be a left side, like even a loophole that game. You can get him, make an emergency, and hopefully he gets 100 and you can play him instead of someone else. You can almost field these players, which is Wilmot, Oscar Baker, and McKenna. And obviously, you know, Davey. I wouldn't want to. Like, the only way I would field the last 3, Wilmot, Baker, McKenna, and Davey, is if Supercoach promises me Rory Laird's going to score 180. But you have to get a rookie.
So what the hell are you talking about? All right, Gibney is definitely a startable for under 200k. You have to start him. Cam McKenzie's very, very talented. If you want to start him under 200k, you can. But there's not a lot of very fieldable options. A lot of people going for like these Henry types. And I don't like his wing roll. I think the first 4 Maddie mentioned, first 5 Maddie mentioned, that are going to be the best. So that's Constable, Ollie Hollands, McLean, Cam McKenzie, and Gibney. But truthfully told, you don't want too many players under 200k starting, because that's not where the good scoring potential is this year, Matty.
I agree. I just did a whole round on that.
Oh, you did? I'm just reiterating.
Yeah.
Now, Callum Carlion, again, with another question mark.
He's got so many questions.
Don't read the rules, Callum. Could Jeremy McGovern be a keeper? Now, he very well could. He had over, I think, 2 or 3 injury-affected scores last year, 38, and it's something or other. But obviously, they saw the West Coast game plan. He's taking St. Mark's, he's taking kickouts. He's looking really fit and firing. If you get him and he doesn't get injured, he will be a keeper. But it's all about your ability to assess his injury proneness. Myself, I don't feel comfortable with his injury history.
I think there's a lot of better premiums out there.
Next one.
Yeah.
Corey Blackledge. Corey, good to have you, man. I saw you jumped into the chat as well yesterday, so good on you, mate. Warple or Setterfield? I'm guessing at that price as well. Warple's safer just because he's 50k cheaper. That entitles him to be able to average 10 or 10-ish, 10 points less than Setterfield.
To make
but I really like both of them. If you were going for one, it depends where that extra 50k is coming out. If you don't have an extra 50k and you're not going to use it, I'd go up to Setterfield, Matty.
Oh, well, I can't fault them both. I've got them both.
You got them both, but if you could only pick one of these blokes, who you picking? If you can put an injury-ending curse on one of them, who you putting it on and who you keeping?
Oh, Setterfield.
You put it on Setterfield?
Only because of the cost.
Okay. I like Setterfield.
I really rate him.
I think he's going to score well against Hawthorn. I think he'll score more than Warple against them round 1, because they're going head-to-head round 1.
Yeah.
Can't wait for footy to start. Darren Elliott, I actually like this bloke. He's very very active. Do you think that cheese should go on top of the ham when you make a toasty, and vice versa? Thanks in advance.
Jordy, you want to go for this one?
The ham goes on first, then the cheese, because then the cheese can melt.
I think the cheese goes on first. The ham goes on. The cheese is going to melt anyway. Trust me.
I have cheesies.
Okay, but how many times have you bitten into your thing where you're burning your top lip because the cheese is way hotter than it is? You put the ham, you put the cheese on the bread first, let it soak into the bread, then you put the ham over it to make that. That's how.
I've bitten into stuff before and the cheese wasn't even fully melted. You put it's always like it's nachos. You put the fucking nachos, the sauce, the cheese. You let it go.
That's not what you do.
Then you put the ham,
you put the nacho, the cheese, and the sauce. What are you talking about?
No.
You put the sauce on the nachos.
Yeah. Fuck oath. I want a nice crispy layer of cheese. Have you made lasagna before? Anyway, let's get back to the ham sandwich before we just...
All right. Well, clearly we got different views, but anyway...
Cheese should go on top of the ham. Yeah, fuck off. It should be on top of the ham.
Nah, put that cheese first, ham, then... No.
I don't know if I could toast this at your house.
You know what, guys?
This is not the most you argue.
Wait. You know what? Does it make a fucking difference? Because if you flip it upside down, it's the same shit. It's a dumb question and we fell right for it. It's the same shit, Jordy.
No, but when you
if you're doing a Jaffa, right? If you're doing a toasted cheese sandwiches, it doesn't matter if it's this way.
But if you have it in the oven with the oven grill on top, right?
They're both double-sided.
No, like, as in like just the grill.
The grill is double-sided.
Not my one.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
But if it isn't,
you're a smart ass. That's
oh,
funny.
Darren, I hope we helped you with that. Go ahead.
Yeah, have a nice cheese.
Joey Trafogli. Must you have an Oliver or Laird in your team for any chance at SC this season? I currently only have the Bont and M1 and 3 500 type players. Matt Steves, do you need to have an Oliver or Laird?
I think look, I would want to have a captain, just one. Like, I just want to have one captain choice that I'm comfortable to vice, because you can always, if you have a captain choice that's always reliable. So, for example, Rory Laird is in my team and he'll be a captain or vice captain. That means that I can have, a vice captain on Took or Jared Witts or, Dunkley or someone else. But if they do shit, it's okay because I've got Laird and I'm happy and comfortable to have that. If you feel that Bont is going to be your captain choice always, and then you want to play around with the other premiums that you've got for vice captain loopholes, then that's cool. But for me, Laird or Oliver have clearly been the most consistent players, especially Laird. That's why he's in my team. He's the most consistent. He's never really gone past 10K of his starting price last year. And based on his practice game and what he's capable of, I still solemnly believe that he will be doing the same, just continuing. So, yes, I think you need one of them for me, to be comfortable.
Joey, I don't think you do. You could get a Neil, you can get a Took Miller, you can have a...
But he's saying he's got Bont as M1
but you said
and 3 500.
But his question is, must you have an Oliver or Laird in your team to have any chance at SC this season? Then he goes on to tell his team. I'm saying you don't need an Oliver or Laird. You can have a Neil, you can have a Took, you can have a Bont. If you have a Bont, Merritt, Steele, or whatever, you don't need Laird or Oliver.
So you're agreeing with his Bont and his 3 500?
I don't know who his other players are, but if you had Bont and a Steele and a Took
but he doesn't.
Well, it doesn't matter. But he's asking if Oliver or Laird, if you need one of them to have any chance. He's not asking, do you need Oliver or Laird?
He's got Bont and M1.
I don't care what he has. He says, must you have an Oliver or Laird in your team?
Okay.
I don't know. You don't need them. I'm not even thinking of not having them. You can have a Kelly, a Steele, a Bont, and go captain with him and Dunkley. I don't think you need a Laird or Oliver.
So what you're saying is his Bont could be his potential captain, vice captain option.
You can.
So I think
But I wouldn't be running what he has either.
Yeah, I know. Fair enough. But based on the cookie cutter teams this year, you need to find some point of difference, and I think captain is going to be that point of difference, because you can put a vice captain on random players that other people will not be picking as vice captain and praying they do well, but you always got your second chance if Laird or Oliver, who normally are the most highest average players in Supercoach, will be your backup. So that's my view anyway. So
I'm happy, if you get a Neo, I'm happy with that as well.
Yeah, that's
but you
cool.
don't need
well, there's
Oliver
it's an Uber premium. Like that's what are you? So
well, I'm happy to even put fucking vice captains on Tom Green.
Tom Green even, yeah, okay. So then that's what I mean. So it's by saying that, so no one is going to be thinking about putting a captain or vice captain on Tom Green. Geordie
until round 2 when he's done it twice already.
But when Geordie does, and who knows, Tom Green can maybe get 190 Supercoach points and he's the only one and he'll be on top because he's got that. But if Tom Green does shit, Geordie, who's your captain?
Bont, Dunkley, if I have Steele, Josh Calvin.
You have Laird though.
Yeah, but if I'm saying if I didn't have Laird, I'd be going for these options. But I'm saying you don't need them.
Okay.
You don't need them.
Right.
It'd be nice to have a fullback option
That's what I'm saying.
Premium, of course. But
nice
I don't think you need to have them to have any chance at Supercoach this year. There's plenty other options that are vice captainable. Thanks, Joey.
Next one. How many more questions we got? It's getting late.
I know. Andrew Ford. Thoughts on Bowers? Hasn't left my side. I fully think he's in Geelong's pan. Look, Andrew, if you tuned in this far, mate, we've spoken about Geelong's thing. They had a premiership team. There was no Bowers in there. There was no Tanner Braun. There's no Asava Radagalia. Holmes was out injured, and Menegola, and a bunch of other ones. So
Hawkins and Duncan.
It's hard to kind of see
Bowers or Bruins.
Their job security being tough with just purely how many talent they are and how many more people.
Don't get me wrong, Andrew. I love Bowers. I think he's great, and I wish he does have a solid spot in there.
But he just can't have it. He could get named round, but I don't think his side is solid because there's just so many good.
These awesome players, job security of the new faces coming into Geelong. They'll play a role, but for how long and how many games string along? But one bad kick, I see them out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andrew. Top fan on Facebook as well, so thanks for that. Top fan as well, Alexander S. Jones. If you could only pick one of Flanders or Callahan, who would you pick?
Finn. I have them both in my team. You saw that?
I'd pick Finn as well, but that being said, Flanders is a forward line player. So that makes him a bit more juicier.
It does really. They're kind of also they're about the same price there, 256 and 244.
Callahan's a better player, and I think he'll average more. But for Flanders' flexibility of being able to put him in the forward line, it's almost priceless. but I would go Callahan. If spots in your midfield are not an issue, it's Callahan for me.
Fair enough. Callahan for me too.
G Money, I have a question that's not football related. What's your origin story? Where did you meet? How did you become friends? We met quite early since we're cousins. We're first cousins.
So Geordie, I was mainly... So Geordie's what? How old are you, George? I'm turning 37 in a couple of weeks. Geordie's about 3 years younger.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah. So Geordie's got an older brother, Jamie. Me and Jamie were very close. Geordie was that little kid that always wanted to play with the boys, but as time got older, me and Geordie became more best friends when Supercoach came out, to be honest. And and our party time.
We didn't speak before Supercoach came out.
No, we did. You always, I took care
It's better for the story.
I took care of Geordie. Geordie ended up doing some nightclubs straight away when he turned 17, 18. And yeah, that's when we got pretty close, I think, when you became an adult. And then Supercoach came. But no, we've been cousins and we lived next door to each other growing up. So that was pretty cool.
That was eventful.
Yeah. So
it was nice. Albuquerque
we've been close for a long time. Albuquerque Cuties.
Now, Costanza, your mate. Would you rather Bruhan and McLean in the forward line as F5 and F6, or Flanders and McLean? The money to get Braun would come from getting rid of McKenzie for your standard stock. So if you're getting McKenzie, I reckon if you're getting McKenzie to get a 1-2-3K rookie, I think I'd go for the
Braun and McLean.
Yeah, you can't be getting rid of McKenzie just to get a stock standard 1-2-3K. Go Flanders and McLean, mate. If that's where you're going, Costa.
Yeah, we'll speak at Pro Bowl, Brendan.
And Dean Fields.
Love him.
Top commentator. Of course he is.
Top of everything.
Top of my crush list.
How many?
Do you think Hewitt can improve from last year and be a round one starter in your side? Oh, yeah. With Walsh out and possible tags on Cripps, I think he can.
That's a good surprise packet, Dean.
I have got enough luck to start him.
Can you believe it, though? You will save 10K, Dean, if you get a steal for George Hewitt.
That's the thing. Hewitt's had one good year. He could do well, but from what I remember, because I also had him in draft, he was tapering off towards the end before his injury. Look, he could get him and he could go absolute bonkers and do it. But how much more can he get on his average? It's so hard to tell. I'd just go for a steal, mate. I'd just go for a steal or a Brayshaw or someone who's really got some...
Look, he's in 1% of teams, Dean, so I like the point of difference there. I know Carlton and George Hewitt are desperately needing for another midfielder to step up now that Walsh is gone.
I mean, Cripps is the same price.
Like he's 613,000. That's huge.
It's a bit much to get a really good pod. I mean,
like I wouldn't like that. I would like if.
I mean, he could do well. Like, there's nothing to say that he can. But what's his ceiling, Dean? What's he going to actually pump out?
I still like him. I think his scoring potential is pretty good. But fuck, come on. Like, the only way I'm going to get Hewitt in my team is if he gets concussed and then he comes back 3 weeks later and he's 450,000.
All right, let's get on to this one. Dave Google, turn it up. I've been chopping my team up all week and this morning took the Samurai Sword to it and traded out Cumming. Darcy Cameron for Sicily, Sick Dog, Constable, Sean Darcy, Master Stroke, or have I got time left to unfuck the damage? Keep up the great work and turn it up!
Turn it up there. All right, so...
Maddie, what do we got for
Dave? Outcoming. Okay, I can live with that one. Darcy Cameron, definitely. I'm glad you got rid of... I don't like you got rid of Yo.
But I like his in. Sicily, Constable... Constable should have been in from the start, Dave.
Should have been in from the start, mate. Sick Dog, I don't mind Sick Dog, but...
Out of the two options you presented to us, I like Sick Dog, Constable and Sean Darcy more than Cumming, Yo and Decam.
Decam, yeah.
So turn it up, mate. You've been...
Done all right there.
You've done all right there. It's a good trade. Don't unfuck it.
Yeah, don't. Put the Samurai Sword away, mate. Put the sword away. Shink.
All right. Dylan, Salvage. What do you think about going Doc and Stewart D1, D2? I fucking love it.
I fucking love it.
I fucking wish I had the money for it. If you found the money for it, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
But that's been my number one plan all along. If I can get an
That's all I want. I just need an extra $400,000 for Jones to Stewart. My team's done.
400,000. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Thanks, Dill. We got 2 questions here. Matt Louie, Liam Jones, or Cam McKenzie? You can only pick one. I would say Liam Jones only because there's not many other players on that price in defence we can trust, mate. So
me too. Job security too.
Engo says 600k defender primo or Ridley in a Flanders. I'm guessing he's got a rookie instead, so I'll go Ridley in a Flanders.
It depends if if it's in the forward line.
Yeah, I'm gathering. Yeah. So Ridley in Flanders. Engo, thanks for commenting, mate. Damien Deans, am I stupid going both Day and Yo in defence?
No.
playing with the idea. No, you're not, mate. I think it's a great idea. I think
I'm this close turning. Yeah, I'm this close.
To turning Ridley into that, getting extra money.
No. I'm turning Jones into a day.
Okay. Yeah, I like it, Damien Deans. Thanks for that, buddy. Zero's gone again. And this is per your suggestion when you want teams to post this, so you can read this one out.
Oh, what'd you do?
You changed it.
Get it back there. Just fucking read it out, Geordie.
You're the This is why I told you not to do this. Got another, per Maddie's suggestion, go on, champ.
Yeah.
Currently, my midfield is this. Laird, Miller, Bont, Merritt, Hopper, Ashcroft, McKenzie and Baker. Benches, Tatsis, need to get rid of him. Chesser and Chinchada, need to get rid of him.
Need to get rid of all of them, pretty much, almost.
Not Chesser.
Yeah, maybe not.
I've got money makers on the other bench starts with Wilmot, Cowan, Green, Davey. But what should I do here? Should I drop someone like Miller to a Warpeed and then use the cash to upgrade my bench? I feel like keeping Merritt over Miller provides a bigger and better POD.
I think you're on the right track. I think you need one more. Yeah, because I wouldn't put McKenzie. I'm scared of putting McKenzie and Baker. Tatsis, Chesser and Chinchada are not money makers. I think you need to have Baker on the bench there. Yeah, Will Phillips, you don't have Will Phillips. I think you need to get him in there for some way. I think you can do it.
Will Phillips. Yeah, he wants to downgrade Took to a mid-price.
Well, that's heaps. So
that's heaps.
If you get rid of Took Miller for a Warple in your question, you'll have a $360,000 left.
Go to town, mate.
To put in another mid-price player that will average well and upgrade your bench options that are clearly not making any money.
So you upgrade them all. I'll go for someone like...
Will Phillips. He hasn't got Will Phillips.
You need Phillips.
And you need Phillips and Baker on the bench. You can leave Chesser there. You can leave Chesser there.
So take Took Miller into two mid-prices. Get a Warple and a Finn Callahan.
For a Tatsis. So get rid of Took Miller or get rid of another Merritt.
He doesn't want to get rid of Merritt.
All right, doesn't want to get a Merritt. All right, so get rid of a Took Miller and a Tatsis in for two mid-price players. And then you got yourself a
There we are, Zero. And I think that will be it. But let me just check to see if there's any new ones that have come in. Mitchell Barrow, Young versus Ridley. Who do you like?
Ridley straight up.
Taranto versus Rosie. Taranto. Horn Francis versus Fife. That's all straight sets.
And we didn't even hesitate. We're just reading these as they go.
Jolly Pet Drive. He said, Hunter Clark, George, you like to play with fire. Is Lockie Ash a viable pick or a trap? Matty?
Lucky, what do you reckon? I like Lockie Ash.
I like Lockie Ash. I don't think he's a trap. I think at very worst, he can get you some 80 or 85s an average, Matty.
Yeah.
All right, and I think we'll leave the questions at there. Sorry, guys, if you said questions and we haven't got to them, but we've been obviously gone for a while. Hopefully the camera hasn't turned off and shed its pants.
I know, it's been a way too long. It's really good light. It's dark. It's night. I want to...
Now, remember, guys, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you already are subscribed...
We love you.
We love you. Okay, guys, check the master preview, the last video for the preseason coming out.
Wowee!
Keep an eye out for it. We're going to be discussing everything. Matty, put the footy down.
Oh, it's too late.
Oh!
Too high. Too high.
Contested.
Contested. All right, boys, see you later. We love you, and we'll talk later. And...
For bow! Turn it up.
Turn it up. Let's...